The topic is try with resources. So for that, first of all, I'll explain what are resources. Then what is the use of finally block, why we need finally, what is the importance. Next is try with resources, and it is a new feature in Java. This is introduced in version 1.7. Let us learn about resources. Here I have a diagram. See, this is the main memory. When we run our program, programs will be running inside main memory and the CPU will be executing the program. So here Java program runs inside JVM and JVM will get them executed. I'm not showing JVM in the picture. Let us look at the program only. Here is our program code. Now the program uses the memory in the form of the stack and heap. We already know about it. So the program and its stack is one entity. This is the actual program. This is the actual program, or this is called as the context of a program. Context, its own area, its own boundary. Outside that boundary is external. Everything is external for the program. So heap, yes, heap is not a core part of a program. It's external to the program. Every object in Java is created in heap. Yes, it is created outside. That's why we have references to the objects. So it's outside. References will be accessing everything from heap. Objects, every object is in heap. So heap is like a resource. Yes, outside. So it's resource. So all the things that are outside the program are resource for a program. So heap is a resource. Other example diagrams, let us look at. Keyboard is a resource, mouse is a resource, and this monitor is a resource, printer is a resource, hard disk, that is file is there, or there may be database also, so that is also a resource. That's not a part of a program, external, program will access it, so it can write or read from the file. Network connection, accessing anything in network, that is also a resource. So anything outside the program is a resource. Just imagine that you are in a college and a lot of resources are available in a college, like book is available, apparatus or equipments are available, devices are available. So if you are studying in a college, you can borrow a book if you are studying, and you should return it when you have finished using that book. You can take a device and do some experiment, do some work, and you should return it once you have finished using it. So all the facilities are available in the form of resources, and the method of using the resources, the procedure is, when you need, you should request and take them, and when you don't need, you should return them. So here also the same method program should follow, same policy it should follow. Whenever it requires a resource, it should take a resource, acquire a resource. When it doesn't need, it should return it. It should return it. If it is not returning it, then what's the problem? See, if I take a book from the library, now I don't need, if I don't return, then library people thinks that still I am using it. They don't know I am not using it, right? When I am not using it, it's my responsibility to return it back. So same way, the program is not releasing the resource or closing the resource, then it means the program is still using it. This is one of the major issues in programming. So resources, when required, you should acquire them, and when you don't need, you should release them. So if you are making an internet connection or network connection, you connect. When you don't need, close it. You open a file. When you don't need a file, close it. You are forming and establishing a connection to the keyboard, use it, and when you don't need, close it. Right? So all these things, when you want, you connect and use. When you don't want, release it. So same way for the heap also we should do it. So when we want anything in heap, any object in heap, we say new. Yes. Then we don't want, we should delete it. So you know well that in Java, the heap memory objects are deallocated automatically by garbage collector. Because it's a serious issue in programming, so Java has built-in garbage collector to clear these resources. But what about rest? Programmers should do this. When you don't need, close them. So I will take the example of a file, open a file and close the file, and using the file I'll explain you rest of the things, that is what is the use of finally and try with resources, these two things. So once again, the important thing we learn here is that Whenever you want to take a resource, acquire it. When you don't want, close it. Otherwise, it is believed that it is with the program, only program is still using it. So finally, let me repeat the points I have discussed. When a program needs a resource, it should acquire it, like taking a book from the library. And if it is not required, it should release it, like returning a book to the library. If you don't return, it is believed that program is still using the resource. So if you don't return it, it is believed that you are still using a book and it cannot be issued to any other student. So same way, resource cannot be used by any other program. So the program should release it so that it can be used by other programs also. And if it require, again it can acquire it. It can acquire whenever it require. So it should not hold it unnecessarily. Now let us see what is the use of finally. Here I have an example for explaining why we need finally. So let us look at the example. I have a method 1, and it throws exception, means it's not handling exception. If there is any error, it will throw it. So whoever is calling this method should have try and catch for handling this exception. We have already seen in the previous videos. Then let us see what this method is doing. It is opening a file. There are some classes for accessing file in Java, like file reader is a class. File reader F, new file reader, file will be opened and the file name is my.txt, txt text. So it is used for reading now from the file. Now here in this statement, I am using the file. Here I am opening the file. Here I am using the file, accessing the file. What all I want to do, I will do that and I will close the file. And this method returns. Returns means it will return the result and the method terminates here, right? This is the termination point of a method. It returns the result to the calling method. All right. So this is about the program. Now let us see the problem. If the file is not available, file not found exception. If file is available but handling the file, using the file, there may be some exception, right? Interrupted exception, IO exception, some IO exception may be there. So if there is a possibility of error in this line and this line, that is, there is a possibility of exception. Now, in case of exception, what happens? Or no exception, what happens? Let us learn both the, right? So first I'll show you if there is no exception, what happens. Quickly let us look at. It will open the file, use the file, close the file, return the result. So everything is smooth. In case of exception, what happens? It will open the file, use the file, there is an exception. It stops the method here and returns to the calling method with an exception. So what about these two lines? They will not get executed because a method can return a result or throw an exception. So it is throwing an exception. So in case if there is an exception, it will not execute these lines. Now, the other problem. If this line is not executed, file is not closed. File is not closed means resource is not released. Who acquired the resource? Method 1. Does the calling method knows that it has acquired the resource? No. Then who will close this file? Nobody from the program. Then the program will still holding that file without releasing it. So this cleanup, this is called as cleanup. Cleanup is not done. Closing the file is not done. So we want to make sure that cleanup is always done. Then what to do? See this now. I will change the code. I will write try here, right? Try. I don't need to catch because I am throwing an exception. So write just finally. So in finally, write down f dot close. No need of f dot close here. No need of here. Now this will work. Let us see now how it works, how cleanup works, finally works. First I'll show you without exception, then with exception. Right, there is no errors. File is open, file is used, return the result. But before returning, it will execute finally block. So close the file and then return the result. So this will definitely get executed, right? So because finally is there, so return means going to the calling method. Before going there, first it will close this one. This is in case of no exception. Next, in case of exception, file is open, file is being used, there is some exception. Close, then throw an exception. So before throwing, first of all, it will close the file and throw the exception. So this part will definitely execute, and it makes sure that the resources acquired in this method are being closed properly or cleaned up properly, released properly. That's it. That's the exact or actual purpose of finally. Now we will see the new feature, that is try with resources. So we can avoid finally. Without having finally, we can just close the resources. So I will change the program and I will show you once again. Now let us look at try with resource. See, this is a try block. This is the starting point and ending point of try block. Along with the try, in the round braces, that is brackets or braces, we can create a resource here itself. So I am creating a resource, file reader, f assign new file reader. Here itself you can do. If you want to open more than one resources, then you can separate them by semicolon. So just in short, for explanation, I'll write R1 semicolon, R2 semicolon. Like this, you can create more than one resources, and it will be a little lengthy. So whatever it is, you can write. So you can create resources along with the try itself. Now when you are creating along with the try itself, then automatically it will be closed once the method is ending. Once the method terminates, automatically resource will be closed. Try will take the responsibility of it. So you don't have to close. So you don't need the finally block. Don't need a finally block for cleanup process, for closing the resources. That's it. This is a try with resources. Try along with resource. And in case of exception, if there is an exception here, then what happens? I am not handling the exception, so I don't need the catch block, because this method is not handling, it is throwing exception. So throws exception, so it goes to the calling method. So that's it. So there is no need of catch block. So can we write just a try block? Yes, you can write. Why it is written? For the resources to be closed, right? So try with resources, take the responsibility of closing the resource. That doesn't need catch block, that doesn't need finally block. To avoid finally block, we are using try with resources. All right. So the change in the previous example to this example is, in previous example, finally was taking the responsibility of closing resources. Now try itself is taking the responsibility. So you don't even need finally block. If you are handling exceptions, then you can have catch blocks. That's to you. All right. So catch block, writing catch block or not, it's your choice, or depends on your requirement. Now one last thing, which type of resources try will automatically close them? By itself it will close them. It should implement an interface called auto closable. So closable resources, right? There is an interface, built-in interface in java.lang package, that is auto closable. If it is auto closable, then it will close. So in short, to make it simple for you, when you study about any resource, we have to study about file and other resources. Slowly we will be learning. So whenever you come across any resource and you found that there is a close method available in that, there is a close method available, like f.file.close is there. This for this f.close we have to write. Close method is there means it is auto closable. So try will call that method and close the resource, so you don't have to worry about it. So that's all in this video. Next video will be a demonstration on this one, so don't miss that one. You will practically see how this is done, and you have to do the same thing on your computer. So that's all.